Hi students, we completed in the previous video buccal cavity. In buccal cavity we saw that teeth, tongue and salivary glands. And today we are going to discuss about the lower part of buccal cavity or below floor of the buccal cavity. Okay. First we are going to discuss about pharynx. Pharynx. Pharynx is the common passage of both food and air. It becomes the common passage for both food and air. It becomes the common passage for both food and air. Okay, in order to understand pharynx, let's draw here the windpipe trachea. Okay, anterior part is trachea, then the posterior part is esophagus. Okay, then followed by the spinal cord. First is trachea, next esophagus, then backbone or vertebral column. Backbone. Okay. So the pharynx is a common passage for food and air, and it is just like a conical shape. Okay, you can see here it is just like a conical shape. So it is a conical shape. Now pharynx are of three types. First one is nasopharynx. Because they are present near the internal nasal chamber. Nasal chamber means, okay, internal nasal chamber, they open at this position. So near the internal opening of nasal chamber, what is present? Nasopharynx. Okay, nasopharynx at the internal opening of nasal chamber. Next is oropharynx. The buccal cavity opens, having its wide opening in the oropharynx, and this will be the oropharynx. Next the third one is laryngopharynx. We can see laryngopharynx near larynx. Okay, here would be the larynx near the opening of trachea, and laryngopharynx we can find near the larynx. So all these larynx, plural form of pharynx is pharynges. So all these pharynges are present below the buccal cavity, and it is a common passage for food and air. So here pharynges, nasopharynx, oropharynx, then laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx. So all these pharynx they open, okay, into a conical shape or just like funnel shape, just like it is just like a funnel shape. Pharynx is just like a funnel shape. Okay. Three types of pharynges: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. So, tongue. We know that tongue is the floor of the buccal cavity. Tongue is the floor of buccal cavity, and here would be the lower jaw, and here upper jaw. Okay. So, air would pass in the nasal chamber and they come to the trachea, whereas food will be passing through the mouth and they pass through the buccal cavity and they cross here and they reach into the esophagus. This is esophagus and this is trachea. Trachea is also known as windpipe. Esophagus is known as food pipe. We can write esophagus as like this also, esophagus. So, okay, which pharynx is present at the crossing? That is oropharynx. Okay, oropharynx. So there are three types of pharynges: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Okay. Since it is a common passage, since pharynges are known as common passage, there is chance that food particle may enter into the trachea. That's why, okay, the trachea is guarded, or the trachea can be closed during the swallowing of food by the help of one connective tissue known as epiglottis. Okay. Now here the opening of trachea is known as glottis. The opening of esophagus is known as gullet. So in gullet we don't have any flap-like structure to cover it, but in epiglottis we have a flap-like connective tissue that covers the trachea during the swallowing of food. So when we are having our food, okay, trachea will close by the help of epiglottis, so that the food will have its normal passage towards the esophagus or towards the food pipe. Now the pharynx, they open into esophagus. So we are going to discuss about esophagus. Okay. Let me explain you with a simple diagram. Okay. For example, this is esophagus, okay, esophagus, esophagus, and followed by stomach. Esophagus opens into stomach, opens into stomach. Now the presence of food in the esophagus, presence of food in the esophagus generates movement, peristaltic movement, in order to push the food down to reach stomach. So it creates a peristaltic movement. So here the food is present. And upper, you can see here up, they are contracting. So when it contracts, the food is pushed down. Okay, food is pushed down, and the relaxed part of the esophagus, they receive the food. So this type of movement is shown in esophagus. So that movement is known as peristaltic movement. Okay, peristaltic movement is generated in order to push the food down in order to reach into the stomach. Now this esophagus opens into stomach, and here there is a special type of muscle that regulates the opening and closing of stomach to receive the food. That is known as esophageal sphincter. Okay, this muscle opens and it regulates opening and closing of this part. So esophageal sphincter. When it opens, food will reach into the stomach. When it closes, there is no passage of food from the esophagus to stomach. Now the bulging part of the stomach is known as fundus. You can see a outgrowth or bulge part is known as fundus. And since the stomach is extended left hand side, so it is towards the heart. Our heart is present towards left hand side, so this part would be known as cardiac, and the main part is known as body, and the ending part of the stomach is known as pyloric, and the end part of the stomach is also having a special type of muscle, okay, that regulates the opening and closing of this part. So that is pyloric sphincter. Now when the esophageal sphincter opens, food goes to the stomach, food reaches to the stomach, and when the food is broken down in the stomach, okay, little by little the food will go to the small intestine. Food goes to the small intestine by the regulation of this sphincter, pyloric sphincter. Okay, now we will revise it quickly. here is the trachea, windpipe, here is the esophagus, food pipe, and pharynx is the common passage of food and air. There are three types of pharynges. Okay, and based on where they are present, all those parts we saw. Okay, oropharynx, nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Now, okay, when the food is present in the esophagus, there will be peristaltic movement generated. Okay, now once the food reaches to the esophagus, that food is not in our control. Now the food cannot be controlled by our brain. It can be controlled by pons and medulla oblongata. So that which is not in our control, we call it as involuntary action. Involuntary action. So peristaltic movement is involuntary action. Okay, which is not in our control. It is controlled by the part of our central nervous system known as pons varolii and medulla oblongata. Okay. Involuntary actions are controlled by medulla oblongata and pons varolii. Okay. Next, the food reaches into the stomach and it is guarded by sphincter. The sphincter is known as esophageal sphincter, and partial digestion takes place in the stomach. The food gets digested partially. Okay. Next, the food reaches the semi-digested food or partial digested food passes to it goes to the small intestine, and okay, the stomach lets the food into small intestine in minute quantities by opening pyloric sphincter.